All right, welcome to ACIM Talks. Uh, Please forgive me for some reason. I got a squeaky voice. I hope the thing will level out as we continue. Welcome to ACIM Talks, where we talk about everything from a Course in Miracles perspective. And as usual, we've got two things that we got going at once. The first on our agenda tonight is our Oracle text reading. And then there's that segment. And after that, we'll get back to our book study of the Kybalion. Is that okay if we start with the lesson tonight, the workbook lesson?
Sounds
Sure.
good.
All right. Well, with that said, we are on page 38 in the workbook for students in the FIP edition. And this is one of the 10 lessons that the Oracle, the Holy Spirit, suggested we study again. So, what I'd like to do is let's just read through it first in its entirety and then do our meditation period on it, and then come back and discuss some of the things that stood out to you. Does that sound okay for format that we just
Sounds
read
good.
through first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which workbook number are you talking about?
Number 25, Hilda.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. And the title, I Do Not Know What Anything Is
Yes.
For. And Sherilyn's our first reader. Nancy, are you reading?
No, not.
Okay. Joan, are you reading?
No, I'm not.
Ron is number 2. Hilda, are you reading?
No, I don't think so.
And Jim is number 3. Ron 1. I'm sorry, Sherilyn 1, Ron 2, Jim 3. I think we can live with that, don't you?
Sure.
All
Thank
right,
you.
let's do it. See what why Holy Spirit wanted us to go over this one.
Okay. I do not know what anything is for. Purpose is meaning. Today's idea explains why nothing you see means anything. You do not know what it is for. Therefore, it is meaningless to you. Everything is for your own best interest. That is what it is for. That is its purpose. That is what it means. It is in recognizing this that your goals become unified. It is in recognizing this that what you see is given meaning.
Please do the next one. Do 2, Sherilyn.
You perceive the world and everything in it as meaningful in terms of ego goals. These goals have nothing to do with your own best interests because the ego is not you. This false identification makes you incapable of understanding what anything is for. As a result, you are bound to misuse it. When you believe this, you will try to withdraw the goals you have assigned to the world instead of attempting to reinforce them.
Thanks, Sherilyn.
Mhm.
Ron, how about 3 and 4, sir?
Yes. Another way of describing the goals you now perceive is to say that they are all concerned with personal interests. Since you have no personal interests, your goals are really concerned with nothing. In cherishing them, therefore, you have no goals at all, and thus you do not know what anything is for. Before you can make any sense out of the exercises for today, one more thought is necessary. At the most superficial levels, you do recognize purpose. Yet purpose cannot be understood at these levels. For example, you do not understand that a telephone is
No,
for
it
the
says
purpose.
you do. You
You
said.
do.
Do
I'm
understand.
sorry.
Mhm.
Thank you. For example, you do understand that a telephone is for the purpose of talking to someone who is not physically in your immediate vicinity. What you do not understand is what you want to reach him for. And it is this that makes your contact with him meaningful or not.
It is crucial to your learning to be willing to give up the goals you have established for everything. The recognition that they are meaningless rather than good or bad is the only way to accomplish this. The idea for today is a step in this direction. 6 practice periods, each of 2 minutes duration, are required. Each practice period should begin with a slow repetition of the idea for today, followed by looking about you and letting your glance rest on whatever happens to catch your eye, near or far, important or unimportant, human or non-human. With your eyes resting on each subject, you so select. Let me read that again. With your eyes resting on each subject you so select, say, for example, I do not understand what this chair is for. I do not know what this pencil is for. I do not know what this hand is for. I'm letting Laverne in. I do not know what this hand is for. Say this quite slowly without shifting your eyes from the subject until you have completed the statement about it. Then move on to the next subject and apply today's idea as before. So let's do our meditation period, but I just wanted to look in paragraph 6, 6 practice periods, each of 2 minutes duration. So that's about a 12-minute meditation altogether, isn't it? In
Yes.
terms of overall time. So it just struck me how, remember how your periods of meditation are kind of building up from lesson 1, and it's progressively getting a little more time involved. Hello, Laverne.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
welcome. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
We are on our Oracle exploration. That's the first thing tonight. And we're in the workbook. And we just finished reading the second of the 10 workbook lessons that we think the Holy Spirit wants us to study. So we just finished the reading, Laverne. So it's lesson 25. I do not know what anything is for.
Okay.
So we're going to do a brief meditation period. I don't know. Can we do maybe 6 minutes or so? And then we'll come back to this for any insights or reflections about the meaning and understanding of lesson 25. So relax, Laverne, relax, everyone. Let's give Holy Spirit a chance to speak to us. So I'm going to share screen and just put on some background music for our reflection time here. I'll see you guys on the other side. I do not know what anything is for. I'm going to have to get another reader here tonight for me. How y'all doing?
All right.
Okay.
Relaxed.
What are your insights about I do not know what anything is for? Was anything said there that caught your attention? Something you hadn't thought about? Something you take issue with?
In paragraph 1, I like or love sentence 5, which says everything is for your own best interest. I usually don't look at life that way, but this is a good reminder for me that I can find good in everything and that it is for my best interest, even though it may be a very painful experience at the time.
Yeah, that was the outstanding line to me of this entire lesson. There are a lot of good things there, but that was incredible, wasn't it? He didn't really mean everything, did he?
That would be hard to believe, I think, for me.
He's made these anything, everyone, everything type statements before. They are, you could see they're outstanding, extraordinary, because they're statements of non-duality. There's nothing else. Wouldn't you agree? Isn't that what he's saying? I know it's hard to believe, but is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
That everything. So then when you get into the lesson and it goes, I do not know what this chair is for, what is its real purpose? If everything is for my best interest, where does this chair fall?
Comfort. For my comfort.
Is that in my best interest?
Absolutely.
What about a dog?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Every.
What
Mm-hmm.
about your enemy?
Yes.
Is that part of everything?
For
Yes.
sure.
Do you see the non-duality of it? Yes,
Mm.
no, want to think about
Yes.
it?
Yes. Yes. Everything is a lesson and a blessing.
Is that different than how you used to think about it?
Yes.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Here's the power when you see it that way to me. And it's part of that sentence, well, it's really sentence 6 that follows Ron's favorite sentence. It's first said, everything is for your own best interest. That is what it is for. That is its purpose. That is what it means. But look at sentence 7. It is in recognizing this that your goals become unified. Why is that important? Having your goals be unified. And what does that mean?
Mm.
It means we're all alike in many ways, and to be on the same page as everybody else at certain times is um, is a positive experience. To know
Mhm.
that we're
Why
not
is it
alone.
at certain times, Ron?
Pardon me?
Why would it be at certain times? Are you saying there are exceptions to everything is in my best interest or just at certain times?
I said at certain times because we're not always aware that everything is for our best interests
And
all
yet,
the time.
whether we're aware of it or not, that's the truth about it.
Yes.
That's what, if you look at the whole premise of the course, is to get us to use a different thought system, right?
Mhm.
And when we use that different thought system, the way we see will be completely changed because we thought judgment was required to live our day. Some things are good and some things are bad. That's only logical, right?
Mm.
Maybe.
There, what was that book? There is no good or bad. It just is. That
Yeah.
Conversations with God. Um, forgot the guy's name that wrote the book. The Conversations with God. He said there is
Neil
no.
Donald Walsh.
Yes, there is no good or bad. Everything just is.
Now,
Yes.
now let's talk about why that would be and go a little deep, well, much deeper with us, with me. If you're either going to get a reward from this, if you aren't going to get a reward from it, you're going to get a lesson from it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm afraid so.
Are lessons good or bad?
They're
And
blessings, so they
neither,
must.
They're
neither
good.
would it.
You
They're
see how
always
It's just
this
good.
hard.
changes our point of view, our position about everything and everyone. Go back a few pages to page 1 of the workbook with me. And it's on page 1. And I want you to look at paragraph 4. The purpose of the workbook is to what? Train your mind in a systematic way to a different perception of what?
Everyone
Everyone and
and
everything in the
everything
world.
in the world.
There's that word again. What is an exception to everything?
Nothing.
That's my point. Your goals become unified because there is nothing that can harm you because everything here is a simulation to teach you what you are. Isn't that what we want to know? What am I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Big question. What am I?
Okay.
Who am I?
So that is the new purpose of time as the Holy Spirit uses it compared to how our ego uses it. Let's go back to the lesson in paragraph 2. No, in paragraph 3. Here's the problem, Jesus says. Another way of describing the goals you now perceive is to say that they are all concerned with personal interest. Since you are not an individual, you have no personal interest. What are your interests? The same as what the interest of the whole is. Because I'm not an individual, I'm part of the universe and universe and universal intelligence. Who taught you you were a citizen of the United States? The same people that taught us the world was flat. They're mistaken. You don't have to be mistaken unless you want to be. Comments? Speechless? Too deep?
Just trying to marinate that statement. You don't have to be mistaken unless you want to be. Okay. So, all right.
The Course says you want to know what you are. I am as God created me. I'm made out of the same stuff God is made of, but it's not a body. God's not a body, and neither am I. How did I get trapped in the body? Okay, workbook part 2. What is the body? Somebody tell me.
Communication device.
Yeah, but let's start with
A
there's one
uniform.
of, go ahead.
A uniform.
Okay. Yeah, that's more where we are. You're right too, Laverne. But to quote it in that section called What is a Body? Jesus says the body is a fence the Son of God imagines he has placed around himself to separate his self from his self, his small s self from his capital S self, if you read that text. That's stupid. Who would want to do that? But
Ego.
that's another discussion.
Mhm.
So it's like Hilda was saying, I'm not a body. The body is a costume I put around myself to make me look like an individual. How can I be separate from you unless I have separation? Well, you can't, but I want to, so I can imagine mistakenly. And I'm very powerful even when I'm wrong. Why am I very powerful even when I'm wrong? The power of God. You can't just have power, you got to have wisdom, or the power can ruin you. Make sense? All right.
Yes.
Well, I thought I'd come back to something where I get something out of you. Makes sense. We're okay?
Mhm.
So that's uh our Oracle workbook lesson for this evening. And I hope you benefited. You've gone through this one before, some of us many times. but every time it gets a little deeper and deeper. So Spirit suggests that we take another look at this one. You can unload your baggage because everything is in your best interest. Smile. Let's move on. We're into the Kybalion.
I'd like to say something
Yeah,
before
Ron,
we move
please.
on. I kind of have an advertisement, but it's
Go
however
ahead,
you want
sir.
to look at it. I have a book called A Year of Forgiveness by Tina Louise Spalding, and
Yes,
it has the 365 lessons written through Tina Louise Spalding, who is a very spiritual person, and
I
quite
haven't
often,
heard of her. Go ahead.
and quite often she has a different way of saying things or saying the same thing in a different way that helps me to understand the lessons better. And
Oh,
when
I
I
see.
when I facilitate a class,
Yes.
um, and we do a lesson or two, I usually read from this book after the lesson just to reinforce or further reinforce what we know or what
Thank
we
you,
think
Ron.
we know. So
Oh,
if you want to write down the name of the book, it's called A Year of Forgiveness.
all right. And is it Tina Louise Spalding?
Yes, exactly. Tina Louise Spalding. She's written 6 other books. She's very spiritual,
Yes.
and I get a lot of information, a lot of
Yes,
different
sir.
ways of looking at it. So if
Yes.
anybody wants to purchase the book, I think I got it on Amazon.
Yeah.
And it's just something else. The name of the publishing company is Light Technology,
Wow.
Light Technology Publishing.
Okay. Thanks, Ron.
Yeah, so
I'll check it out. And those of you that might be interested, I'm sure you'll pursue it. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron.
you're very welcome.
Yeah, because now I'm interested what she would say about this lesson, lesson 25.
Yeah.
Mhm.
See if we have some what's the word I'm looking for? Confirmation from other sources.
Mhm.
You got your Kybalion there, and Sherilyn will get to crack open her brand new Kybalion. She's good to
Yeah.
go, people. If that's the case, Sherilyn, you're our first reader.
Can you tell
Okay.
me, can you tell me where you
Oh,
are?
wait, Laverne, yeah.
Yeah.
You've got the Kybalion, right?
Yeah, I have it online, so just tell
All
me.
right. So, Laverne, we are
Mhm.
in the chapter where it's going through the 7 principles,
Yes.
and we're starting with principle 6, cause and effect.
All right. Let me get there. I
Sure.
got it. Okay, I'm
Well,
there. I
why
got
don't you be our first reader? You didn't get to read, so why don't you read some and then we'll go back to Sherilyn.
okay. The
Please.
principle of the principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law, not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law, the Kybalion. This
Please continue.
principle,
Yeah.
this principle embodies the fact that there is a cause for every effect, an effect from every cause. It explains that everything happens according to law, that nothing ever merely happens, that there is no such thing as chance, that while there are various planes of cause and effect, the higher dominating the lower planes, still nothing ever entirely escapes the law. The Hermetists understand the art and the methods of rising above the ordinary plane of cause and effect to a certain degree, and by mentally rising to a higher plane, they become causers instead of effects. The masses of people are carried along, obedient to environment, the wills and the desires of others stronger than themselves. Heredity, suggestion, and other outward causes moving them about like pawns on the chessboard of life. But the masters rising to the plane above dominate their moods, characters, qualities, and powers, as well as the environment surrounding them, and become movers instead of pawns. They help to play the game of life instead of being played and moved about by others' wills and environment. They use the principle instead of being its tools. The master obeys the causation of the higher planes, but they help to rule on their own plane. In this statement, there is condensed a wealth of Hermetic knowledge. Let him read who can.
Wow.
Hmm.
Comments here?
All right. They play the game of life instead of being played.
How do you use everything in a way that it's for your best interest? How do you take something seemingly negative and see it as a positive? Don't you have to rise above and see it like from on high and see how it really fits into the big picture?
I'm kind of thinking in terms of listen to that small voice in you, which is spirit, that's leading you and telling you which way to go.
What thought system does this spirit use? God's thought system or the ego's thought system? Those are
It's,
the two that from the course.
that's,
Which one?
that's right. That's obvious.
Certainly not the ego.
Right.
So when we read in here in that first full paragraph, see if you can find where I am. It starts this principle embodies,
Mhm.
but then somewhere in there it says that there is no such thing as chance, that while there are various planes of cause and effect, the higher dominating the lower plane. What I wanted to ask is, why does the higher dominate the lower?
Because the higher is truth.
Yeah, and these more pragmatic terms, I'm relating to the principle of vibration.
Mm.
It things that vibrate faster, they have a higher vibration. They're on a higher plane. For example, if we took a wheel and started spinning it, and pretty soon the spin would lose all form. It would just appear to be still, right? Didn't they use that example earlier?
Right.
Because it's vibrating at such a high frequency that its characteristics of form start to disappear.
To our perception.
Correct. Higher dominates the lower plane. I'm thinking of Power versus Force. Have any of you heard of that book?
Yes.
And it talks about different how truth vibrates at a higher level and how spiritual masters are vibrating here. And remember, anger is a low vibration. But what was the lowest vibration? Dr. David Hawkins was the author. What was at the lowest vibration? Depression.
Mm.
Very slow vibratory speeds. But the higher you go up toward this Jesus type, these are the masters when you get up in that hierarchy of vibration. So that's kind of how I'm related. Is that too much of a stretch for me to see correlation between vibratory frequency and ascendancy, higher vibrations? If not, we'll move on. Y'all good?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Need a medication? Something
Fine.
other comments? Cause and effect.
By
What
mentally.
does that do to all your scapegoats?
Mm.
What do I mean, scapegoat?
Kind of
Mm.
takes away the excuses,
Right.
You
the
Right.
know,
cover-ups.
that's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like cause eating too much and the effect is getting too
Okay.
fat. And so, yes, that takes away, if I understand it, it takes away my excuse for overeating.
What about the driver you get when you take a Uber? Just a random dude or dudette?
Mm.
I don't think so.
What are they for? Everything is in my best interest. What is it for? Every encounter is a holy encounter. What about the people that you meet on the bus? Why those people and not another group of people? It's just a coincidence, isn't it?
Mhm.
Not.
I think as an individual, you send out energy, and that energy, I,
It's making your world.
yes, it's because somebody will get into the same situation and have a bad experience, and you may have a good one, or you would have be in a
Hermetic
different
Law
environment.
1, mentalism.
Right.
Everything we see is the effect of what we're thinking. I have no neutral thoughts. Every thought I have has an effect. If it's a cause, that's what our thoughts are.
And I think just because it happens and you don't understand it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. I mean, that's
And that
another.
it doesn't have a cause. You see, Hilda?
It
It
does have
has,
cause, you just don't recognize it.
yes, they all have an antecedent. So what we see here is the collective effects of a cause. If you want to change what you see, you have to collectively change it at the causal level. And that's mental, isn't it?
Right.
Change the hearts and minds, well, it used to say of men, of people. So I'm following this okay. I can see real world example of these Hermetic principles, and a lot of it I'm hearing it reinforce the course's message also. Let's
And
move on. If it's okay with you,
Mhm.
we're up to now we're up to Cheryl and White, aren't we?
Yes.
For the next seven, please.
Yes.
All right.
The principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. The principle embodies the truth that there is gender manifested in everything, the masculine and feminine principles ever at work. This is true not only of the physical plane, but of the mental and even the spiritual planes. On the physical plane, the principle manifests as sex. On the higher planes, it takes higher forms, but the principle is ever the same. No creation, physical, mental, or spiritual, is possible without this principle. An understanding of the laws will throw light on many a subject that has perplexed the minds of men. The principle of gender works ever in the direction of generation, regeneration, and creation. Everything and every person contains the two elements of principles, or this great principle within it. Him or her. Female contains also the male principle. If
Wait a
you would
minute. Could you
understand,
go back? Does that start every male thing? Do you see?
yeah,
Please start
ev-
there again.
okay. Every male thing has the female element also. Every female contains also the male principle. If you would understand the philosophy of mental and spiritual creation, generation, and regeneration, you must understand and study this Hermetic principle. It contains the solution of many mysteries of life. We caution you that this principle has no reference to the many base, pernicious, and degrading lustful theories, teachings, and practices which are taught under fanciful titles and which are prostitution of the great natural principle of gender. Such base revivals of the ancient infamous forms of phallicism tend to ruin mind, body, and soul. And the Hermetic philosophy has ever sounded the warning note against these degraded teachings, which tend toward lust, licentiousness, and perversion of nature's principles. If you seek such teachings, you must go elsewhere for them. Hermeticism contains nothing for you along these lines. To the pure, all things are pure. To the base, all things are base.
Thank you. Comments here, anybody? The principle of gender. If it's not about sex and you know,
Mhm.
the prostitution of the ideal.
Principles, yeah.
Yeah, when you hear gender and you think of male and female, if it's not that, what is it? If you think of male and female bodies, but it's broader than that, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So if it's not bodies, what are they referring to?
Mental,
Is it about qualities?
spiritual,
Okay, qualities.
creation, generation, and
Okay,
regeneration.
all right. So notice it takes two to tango. Let me give you a sample. I'm getting into metaphors. Two to tango. You have to have not just theory or creation, but you have to have action. or application. How am I doing?
Right.
One without the other
Doesn't work.
doesn't work. I go to, have you ever heard of the Baha'i faith? It's a spiritual group.
Yeah,
Mhm.
No.
One
I've
of the
heard of
examples that they use quite often in their spiritual language is a bird without two wings can't fly. Have you noticed that?
Mm. So
it.
we earlier in this book we talked about polarity. It talks about polarity. So this for me is takes me back to that polarity and the fact that everything has dualism.
There you go. How about yin and yang? Have you heard of that? How
Mhm.
Yes.
about faith
Yes.
without works is dead?
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
can't have real faith without works, is to misuse the faith. It has an application, it has a practical value. If you won't use it, you won't see its real value. Meditation is great in your prayer closet, but where is it going to be most beneficial? When you're meditating with your eyes closed in your little closet, or aren't you minimizing its power? You're building it up, but what's its real purpose? To be used. Female create, the male is more the action oriented, the implementation oriented part. It's not to say that only males implement, because you're part male. Ron's part female. We manage those two and we become a master because we learn how to manage which side, okay, of duality. We can learn how to manage the duality. Too deep? You already knew this stuff?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I know.
it's logical. It's makes sense, even though we may not have really thought about it before.
Why?
Why had we not thought about it before?
Correct.
We just haven't made the effort or given
Yeah.
the effort to it.
Well,
We're
yeah, yeah,
deep in our awareness. It's there. If we it makes sense to us when we hear it.
yeah. And if you can slow down and get in an environment where you can minimize distractions of things that are loud and noisy, but meaningless, that have to be loud and noisy. Otherwise, their meaningless will show through, right? But they do serve, for those who let it, as significant distraction to contemplating important things, getting to know who you are, getting to know what you are. So we're not being tricked as much as we used to be, right?
Right.
Okay. Still,
Mhm.
honor your lifestyle in your everyday world. But man, the way you see things is being challenged now in a very significant and convincing way. A lot of times you'll say, I know it sounds crazy, but it makes sense. It holds together in and of itself, right?
Right.
Say everything is a half truth. That's what it says in that polarity section.
Yes,
So,
but which side you're on, you can straighten that out so you stay on the truth side by your will.
mm, mhm.
You manage it, you master it, you rise above it so you can ride that elephant and tame the elephant to do your will. You got a choice. It'll go either side, right?
Mhm.
But you have some range because you can vibrate at a higher, a more omniscient, omnipotent. So we're going to close out. I hope you're enjoying ACIM Talks. And it sounds crazy,
Yeah.
but no crazier than where we're living now, in my opinion.
Right.
So,
The only thing that, you talk about all of these rules and what they're, we don't get how they operate. So that's, I guess we have to keep going down this rabbit hole.
well, I don't know. Certainly there's a rabbit hole, but maybe they'll address a lot. These things never show up on my Zoom background, but we got
Mhm.
a lot more pages in this little book. Remember, this was just a quick summary of those
Oh,
7 principles. Now
okay.
we're going into getting
Mm.
more answers and understanding.
Oh, okay.
All right.
That
Everybody
makes
good?
sense.
Yeah, I see a few
Yes.
smiles out there, and Reverend Jim is glad to be here to get our week off to a wonderful, happy start because we're becoming masters simply by learning what we are. We're remarkable. We're amazing.
That's
When
right.
we can be amazingly good or amazingly bad, but it is what it is. All right, my friends. Thank you for
Right.
coming out. Got a
Thank
couple
you.
of
Thank you.
comments. Oh, yes, you're very welcome, as usual. Couple minutes for our family discussion period. If there's nothing to talk about, we'll be out and off and running for another wonderful week. Y'all take care, and
All
I'll see
right.
you
You
next
too,
time.
Jim.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you can stay, stay. If not, I'll